I just started a lean leadership position with a new company and was surprised to find that their process improvement tools and systems are so chaotic. There's no standardization. There's so much non-value add time inventing and reinventing tools that are different in every department. At my prior company, everyone was so competent using their Systems to Win templates. At first, I foolishly thought that just making people aware these tools existed would be enough. And then I realized they need training. That's why I'm excited to make these initial training videos, to help my people get to the point that the light bulb comes on. And they realize they can use everything they know about Excel and everything they learn about how Systems to Win extends Excel in ways that are familiar and consistent.
Well, excellent. Let's get started then. What training do you think people need?
Well, if they don't even have Systems to Win installed yet, then we should probably start there.
Okay. On the installation instructions training page on our website, you'll notice that usually you just close Excel and double click it. Now, if you don't have administrative permissions or you're doing an upgrade, there can be special situations. This is probably a good time to pause to point out that every Systems to Win video has a home page. And if you did not start this video from its home page, you might want to pause it and restart it from there because it has extra features like links to related topics, such as how to install your software, for instance. So once people have Systems to Win installed on their computer, what do you think they might want to know next?
I'd say they'd probably want to learn how to find and open a template.
So when you open Excel, you know that Systems to Win is successfully installed when you see the Systems to Win tab in the ribbon bar. So select the Systems to Win tab, and then you can open your Systems to Win templates using either of these first two menu items. Now in the past, you used to almost always open your templates through the Systems to Win portal.
Yes, that's how we did it, and then it would open up our portal homepage in our browser. And that's where we would open our templates.
Yes, and then you need to know how to use your chosen browser to open a file, and that can be confusing. So back in 2015, we came up with an easier way. 99% of the time, you're going to open your templates using this second menu item, the Systems to Win Templates button. And now every single one of the 150 plus templates are there, including the Word, PDF, and PowerPoint templates. You can open them through Excel. And if you don't know which template you should use for what you need to do next, then that's the purpose of this very first template, the Tool Selection Matrix. And like most Systems to Win templates, that's got its own training video that we won't reproduce here. But this is a good place to point out that on every Systems to Win template, when you click any row or column header, you're going to get pop-up help. So what do we mean by strategic alignment? What's root cause analysis? What do we mean by problem solving? And notice that in the row above each header, there are links to online training and help for each of these topics, where you can learn a lot more about each of these popular methods for process improvement. And if we scroll over, we see that there are also links to online training and help pages for each template.
That's really helpful. So once you choose the template that you're looking for, how do you open it?
Well, you don't open it through the tool selection matrix itself. The instructions are to find and open using the Systems to Win menu, just like you learned before. So let's say that in this case you want the A3 report.docx. So you figure out the file name here, and then you click the Systems to Win Templates button and select your desired template and open it the same way that you learned before.
Yes, the A3 report. That's one that we want to start using. I noticed that's the only Word template that comes as a free trial. Is that a good one to learn how to find help in Word templates?
Yeah, it is. Let's take a look at it. Notice that near the top, like many Systems to Win Word templates, it has links to online training pages, in this case 3 of them. And if you hover your mouse over any link in any Systems to Win Word template, you'll find pop-up help that explain what it's about. In this case, we're teaching you how to link to a separate document for A3 approvals. And if we hover our mouse over this next link, we notice that there's online training for how to do the A3 problem-solving method itself. So let's control-click and follow that link. And that opens a training page that has quite a bit of pretty in-depth training for how to use your A3 report template for many different diverse purposes. And also has foundational tips for just how to use Microsoft Word. For instance, how do I set up my printer or plotter so I can print 2 side-by-side pages on a single 11 by 17 piece of paper? Most people don't know how to do that. Or how do I view 2 pages on one screen? Select the View tab, 2 pages. Now that looks more like an A3 report. Now because we have a small viewing screen, let's go back to 100% zoom. And let's hover our mouse over this final link to the training page for features that you might find in any Word template. Things like tables of contents, navigation pane. How do I insert screenshots and pictures? Things you might not know you can learn, including how to use these form fields that are highlighted in gray. Many Systems to Win templates use these form fields to provide concise instructions, and then notice that as soon as you select the form field containing the help goes away as soon as you start typing. Form fields are a powerful way to provide training in many Systems to Win templates. And if you haven't downloaded your free trials yet, you might want to do it now so that you can start using what you learn before you forget it.
That's nice. Most Systems to Win templates are not Word templates, though, right? Is now a good time to learn how to use Excel templates?
Sure, let's use what we learned to open an Excel template. Let's start with a simple template like the layout diagram. And notice that every Systems to Win Excel template opens up to a help worksheet that always starts out with the purpose, and then the very next instruction is how do I open up a blank sheet, because that's where you're going to do your work, is on a blank sheet. So notice at the bottom there's tabs for 2 sheets, and once I click the button to open a blank sheet, a window comes up to remind me to rename my new sheet, because now there's 3 sheets. And notice that we are on a blank sheet, which is where you're going to do most of your work. But it sure is nice to be able to click the sample sheet, which shows a sample of what a finished document might look like, which allows you to play around and move things and go, oh wow, if I right-click this, you mean I can switch between elbow straight and curved. Oh wow, that's cool. So you can learn things on the sample sheet, but that's not where you're going to do your work. When you're ready to do your work, you open a blank template sheet.
Got it. Can we get back to that help worksheet? That's what I would always teach my people at my prior company, is whenever they open up a Systems to Win template, always start by reviewing the help on the help worksheet.
Sure, that's actually very good advice. So we already saw that every Systems to Win help worksheet is organized the exact same way. It starts out with a purpose. What's this template for? The next section is instructions for how to use any Systems to Win template, including how to set up your computer. If anything goes wrong, there's FAQs for what to do about that. And then there's a link to this quick start training video that you're watching right now.
Oh, wait. Don't skip that very first instruction on the top row to never delete a help sheet. We did that once and had to send the workbook back to Systems to Win to get repaired.
Oh yeah, it's okay to hide a help sheet, but that contains code that's essential for every Systems to Win Excel workbook to actually function, so don't delete it. And if we scroll over a bit, we see that this page navigation section has links to the training sections that are always the same on every Systems to Win help worksheet. So if we select one of those links, it takes us right to that section of the help page. And this section of each help page is really the meat of how do I use this unique template. And there are links to online training web pages and videos to teach you what you need to know for this process improvement method. So if we open a different Excel template, like maybe the value stream map, we know that it will always open to a help worksheet that's organized the exact same way. And if we scroll down and select one of these links, that will open a training web page in our browser. Use these top navigation menus to see the breadth of online training that's available for popular lean tools and methods. And then each of those topics might have its own sidebar menu with links to more training pages and videos to give you a deeper understanding of each process improvement tool or method.
Yes, my people have found this online training super helpful, even for those lean methods that they prefer to use pencil and paper instead of Excel. Hey, can you scroll down a little bit? I think this page has a good example of guidance for when it makes sense to use pencil and paper and when it makes more sense to use a more powerful tool.
Good point. So now let's turn our attention to the single most important topic of this entire video. So if a genie grants you 3 wishes, what should one of your wishes be? More wishes, right? So if you learn nothing else from this video, you should at least learn how to use Google Site Search and Control F so that you can find the answers to any other questions that you have. In the upper right corner of every Systems to Win web page, you'll find 3 very helpful things. Let's start with Google Site Search. Enter the keyword or phrase that you're looking for. Click the button to search, and that brings up a list of all the pages in the website that contain that phrase. When you select one of those pages, it takes you to the top of that page. Now, because some of our training pages are long, to find keywords within a page, you use Control F. And then you enter the keyword phrase and press Enter. And keep repeatedly pressing Enter until you find what you're looking for within that page. And by the way, if you're using a non-English version of your browser, then it might not be Control F, it might be Control B for Buscar, for instance. And that leads us to the second helpful thing that you'll find in the upper right corner of every Systems to Win web page. If you click this link, it opens a web page that teaches you how to translate any Systems to Win training into any language. And not just training web pages, but also Systems to Win templates themselves, the Systems to Win menu and dialogues, and even closed captions for training videos. And the final thing that you'll find in the upper right corner of every Systems to Win web page is the button that you can click to open the site map, where you can browse among the many training topics and videos that are available. Let's go back now to the Systems to Win menu in Excel and notice that it too has links to the most popular training pages, including the site map that we just saw, as well as a lean glossary for potentially confusing terminology, and a roadmap for a typical lean transformation. There's also a link to online training page for the leadership roles needed for successful implementation of your Systems to Win systems. And there are links to online training and videos to teach you what you don't know that you don't know about the most popular software in the world of business, Microsoft Excel, as well as training for how to download and use free PDF writing software. And while we're here, let's look at some of these special functions on the Systems to Win menu that extend the standard capabilities of Excel. For instance, this Protect Sheet function will protect the worksheet with the correct settings. And you always want to use this special Copy Sheet function when copying your as-is to serve as a starting point for your to-be version, because it overcomes known bugs in Microsoft Excel. You'll probably use Insert Link icon the most, because those visual link icons are so space effective and useful for linking to related documents. When you click Copy Shapes, that opens up a workbook filled with common shapes that you can copy to any other Excel workbook. And if you happen to lose your sight or the use of your hands, you might someday appreciate that you can still keep your job. And many of our international customers have people who speak different languages. So if, for instance, your native language happens to be Chinese, there you go. Now your Systems to Win menu and dialog menus should be easier for you to read.
Be sure to tell them that if a template has any special functions, they will appear to the right of the standard functions.
Yes. For example, the 5S scorecard has special functions that are different from the special functions for the value stream map and are different from the special functions for an FMEA.
Could we go back and finish looking at the major sections that are found on every Help worksheet?
Sure we can. In addition to the sections that we've already covered, if we scroll down below the instructions for how to use this template, the next section has suggested readings, which has links to online training and videos. And if you click this link, that takes you to a web page where you can buy the book if you want to for the long version of training for that particular lean tool or method. And back on the help sheet, the next section is Excel training. It starts out with these few tips that are common to every Systems to Win template, but this bottom section is always different. What's likely to get you stuck about Excel when you use this template? So if you find yourself getting stuck, not knowing how to do something in Excel, what do? Remember to go to the Help worksheet and then select Excel Training, where you will find links to the training pages and videos for the Excel training you need to get you unstuck. And now let's scroll down to the final section of each help page, where your leaders can optionally define your own user-defined training. Perhaps you paid a consulting firm a large amount of money to create some personalized training. What's the moment that you want your users to remember the training that they received 2 years ago? It's the moment they go to open the template to go do what they were trained on, right? So if you're ever using one of your Systems to Win templates and you see this red on pink message in the top row of your template, that means that your leaders are trying to communicate with you. So what you want to do is follow this link, which will take you to the user-defined training section on the help page of that template, where your leaders can provide your own unique training, which can consist of unlimited words, and they might even provide a hyperlink to a document or video containing the unique training that you need to successfully improve your process. Now we have other training videos that teach your leaders how to optionally personalize your master templates in ways that your personalizations are automatically found and transferred every time that you upgrade your new templates. But that's the topic of another video. The purpose of this video was all about you, the end user, and you should now know what you need to know to find help for any of your 150 plus Systems to Win templates for process improvement.
Thanks for making this video, Dean. I want to point out to my users that the next step is to complete the new user training. There's a free live instructor-led webinar every month, and there's a pre-recorded version that can be viewed anytime, anywhere. I think this will really help people get off to a great start with their new tools.